6:30, I'm gonna call to order the Centralia City Board of Aldermen special meeting for Monday, November 14th. Roll call, please.
Alderman Motley? Here. Alderman Hudson?
Here.
Alderman Wilkins?
Present.
Alderman Decker?
Here.
Alderman Rogers?
Present.
Alderman Magley?
If I get everybody stand for pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, folks. That'll move us to item 4 on the agenda for tonight, comments from citizens. I didn't have any by email this week. Did any of the council members or city administrator? So, if I have no one going to speak, then I will close the comments from citizens section. It moves to 5, discussion of North Platte final, North Point final plat and Mystic Ridge preliminary plat. You want to update us on that?
Yes, so, we met last week with planning and zoning. They did make the recommendation to approve the final plat for, Darren's North Point subdivision. And pulling up minutes from that meeting. So yes, it was approved, on the condition that the covenants be attached, and Darren did submit the covenants. And I just spoke with Darren. I failed to ask him for the check for the filing fee, and so tonight, if, the board agrees, I'd like to approve the final plat with the condition that he brings the check in for the filing fee. But he has met all the requirements and so forth with the improvement plan.
Any discussion or thoughts about it, folks? All right, I'll close discussion on that one. That moves us to 6, legal. I would entertain
Are we gonna talk about the North Point one?
Mystic Ridge?
Yeah, Mr.
Mystic
Ridge.
Ridge one?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Mystic Ridge plat was originally approved back in 2007. According to our ordinances, work has to be completed within 5 years. So when they submitted the plat for the second phase of Mystic Ridge, since we were outside of that 5 years, they requested that, that the original preliminary plat go in front of planning and zoning to be reapproved, which is what happened. They did make the motion to approve the Mystic Ridge preliminary plat with the same conditions that it was approved for originally, and those are in the ordinance. There's 8 conditions that would need to be met.
Seems excessive to me, 8 conditions that still need to be met.
That's because only one part of it was completed.
First phase.
It's 5 phases, is that right, Matthew?
I think so, yeah. On that, yeah, the far side of it.
So as different phases were completed, certain things had to be done, but it was with those residential lots that those conditions were met. So with the first phase of Mystic Ridge, the improvements on Adams Street were made, but that second phase, actually that's not part of the second phase, is it? I'm not sure which phase it'll be, but the rest of Adams up until the original house right there, just sort of, those improvements will be made. The street will have to be widened, curb and gutter, sidewalks. And then as the residential homes with this next plat are done on Lakeview Street, money's going to be put into an escrow account for the improvements on Lakeview. Those are some of the improvements and examples of why there's still those conditions on there.
Seems like a lot of exceptions.
Yeah, there.
Do you vote on North Point before this, or when does that happen? And then
When we
I
get
can-
to legal, so
Okay.
discussion now.
Yeah, we'll
So,
finish.
can I say something on Mystic Ridge?
Mhm.
I don't think there's any secret about my relationship with Don Borman and/or John, but I will say that I don't believe that they're being treated fairly from the aspect of that plat of the 5-year rule was actually done after the acceptance of that preliminary plat. And so for them to have to put the water in at their expense should not be the case. That was all done after the fact, after the acceptance of that plat. And just because the city decided to put in what probably is a pretty good rule, that preliminary plat was already accepted prior to that date of the preliminary plat.
No, he's talking about the water.
Yeah, he's talking about water. The
Yeah.
electric's what we.
Water and electric.
I'll
'Cause
go
I know
back and
that-
look, 'cause I thought that was changed before.
No, Mystic Ridge was grandfathered in under the old system, from my memory. You can find something in the minutes, but Lynn Barons is the one that did it.
Okay, and you say it was done after the preliminary?
You all made the 5-year rule after. You all made I believe the 5-year rule was made after Matt Harlan was here.
Okay.
After you had done the first,
Yes.
it went through the first term.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Matt Harlan was here, and that all came about because I did Campbell subdivision. And Matt didn't want to accept the concrete street.
All right, I'll have to go back and look at that, 'cause that'll change. Okay.
And I know none of you guys were here, but the more things that we can do to be pro-development for the community is only gonna help the community grow.
So with that in question, would we vote on that tonight? Because we may not need to.
I think we need to resolve that before we vote on it. We
Bill?
have to.
Did you say that it was?
The 5-year rule was, I think, when Harlan was here. And he is correct. It kind of come about because of Campbell Street, because that was platted,
1975.
yeah, way long ago.
We talked about that when you were doing Campbell Street.
Yeah.
So,
But did we allow the grandfathering in, or was it effective for anything? And-
Well, it was,
Well-
well, accepted the preliminary plat.
But-
Just like there's a street right on Southland Street that goes all the way through that attaches onto Orchard Street. If anybody wants to develop that, that's the city's responsibility to put that street in. Per your all's ordinances.
Say we verify.
Yeah,
Okay.
we want to be fair, but there's still should be some level of timeliness.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta hold people to, we can't just let it go forever.
Correct. And then it's 15 years later at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's at some point. we gotta-
Ordinances change, and the county changes theirs, and things change. I hear you, Darren, but I wouldn't, something that was approved 20 years ago, even maybe 15 years ago, at some point, it's got to be adapted to the current standards.
Only if you would have wrote the ordinance to go back and retrofit all those past ones.
That's why we need to validate that it's written.
you know, I would say that, I agree with you on that and you on that. I think they're both legitimate points. I think we gotta make sure that we didn't go back to, include any past that may be developed. We'll pick those up if it doesn't. I think it's grandfathered in at that point. And we would accept, we probably wouldn't have to vote on it because it's, I mean, other than update it, because they'd be grandfathered in. But if, on the other side of it, like you're saying, if it did, and it goes back and it took into consideration, those developments that had other phases or preliminary, then it would be to the new expectation.
I'll check on that.
Either way, we need to make sure we think about that going forward, anything that we do, there may be a grandfather clause, but it needs to be for a set period of time, you know, if something was approved prior to this date and is completed within X number of years.
Yeah. absolutely. So from discussion, we've been looking at, North Point subdivision, and Mr. Bruce Red Flat B would be at this time, put on hold,
Mhm.
and,
Table the next week.
table to, yeah, next week.
Do you
So I would
want to
take it.
table it, or do you want to just
Motion
make
would
a
be to that.
condition? Because
You said so.
regardless, either they're gonna have to pay for water, or we have to pay for water. It's-
Right, but we wouldn't, we wouldn't get it on that, because it was already passed previously, so we wouldn't create a new resolution for it.
We have a meeting next week, we can
Mhm.
resolve that.
I'll know before then, I'll let people know.
Okay. So, discussion, closed discussion, more discussion on that at this point. And from that discussion, that moves us to item 6, A, B, and C. B being Mystic Ridge preliminary plat. I would entertain a motion for it to be removed until further discovery for next week.
So moved.
Second.
Have a first and second to strike the B and table it till next week. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, so it's tabled, so we have an A and a C. So that moves us to bill number
2488.
2488, which is North Point subdivision final plat. Entertain a motion for first reading by title only.
I move the bill number 2488 be given its first reading by title only.
Second.
Have a first and second that bill number 2488 be given its first reading by title only. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. Reading, please.
An ordinance approving the final plat of North Point subdivision located in the west one half of the northeast quarter of the northwest quarter of section 10, township 51 north, range 11 west, in the city of Centralia, Boone County, Missouri, and accepting dedication to the city of Centralia, Missouri, of the utility easements and the street right-of-way in said plat as the public property of the city of Centralia, Missouri.
Entertain a motion for the second reading by title only.
Okay, I move that bill number 2488 be given its second reading by title only.
Second.
Have a first and a second for bill number 2488 to be given its second reading by title only. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Second reading, please.
An ordinance approving the final plat of the North Point subdivision located in the west one half of the northeast quarter of the northwest quarter of section 10, township 51 north, range 11 west, in the city of Centralia, Boone County, Missouri, and accepting dedication to the city of Centralia, Missouri, the utility easements and street right-of-way in said plat as the public property of the city of Centralia, Missouri.
Move that bill 2488 be adopted by roll call vote.
Second.
I have a first and a second for bill number 2488 be adopted by roll call vote. All in favor? All opposed? Passes. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Motley.
Yes.
Alderman Hudson.
Yes.
Alderman Wilkins.
4.
Alderman Deckard.
4.
Alderman Rogers.
4.
Alderman Magley.
Bill number 2488 passes unanimously. Ordinance number
3151.
315. That moves us to C. Bill number
2489.
2489, contract for tree trimming and removal. Have those. Back.
So we did only receive one bid,
Thank you, Darren.
Yep, thank you guys.
and, the way that we put it out, they could bid it per tree. So the bid came in over what we had budgeted for, but we got to pick which trees are gonna be, more priority and, the best ones to get out. As I put in the memo, we completely took out stump grinding since we do have that equipment ourselves. Matt Sadler actually threw that out there that they would be able to handle getting rid of the stumps. So at least 31 trees, to get us in right at just 75 over budget.
2489 be given its first reading by title only.
Second?
First and second that bill number 2489 be given its first reading by title only. All in favor? All opposed? First reading, please.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor and the city clerk of the city of Centralia, Missouri to execute a contract with Brakes.
Yep.
Tree Care of Columbia, Missouri for tree trimming, brush and tree removal services for the city of Centralia, Missouri. I move that bill number 2489 be given its second reading by title only.
Second?
First and a second, that the bill number 2489 be given its second reading by title only. All in favor? All opposed? Passes. Second reading, please.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor and the city clerk of the city of Centralia, Missouri to execute a contract with Brakes Tree Care of Columbia, Missouri for tree trimming, brush, and tree removal services for the city of Centralia, Missouri. I move that bill number 2489 be adopted by roll call vote.
Second?
Have a first and second that bill number 2489 be adopted by roll call vote. All in favor? All opposed? Passes. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Motley.
Yes.
Alderman Hudson.
4.
Alderman Wilkins.
4.
Alderman Deckard.
4.
Alderman Rogers.
4.
Alderman Magley.
Bill number 2489 passes unanimously. Ordinance number,
3152.
that moves us to item 7, purchasing. So we have nothing for 7, I take it?
No, not for
Okay.
purchasing.
I think I was already, so okay, good. That moves us to 8, mayor appointments. I would take a motion to approve appointment for full-time officer Tanner Craddock and part-time police officer William Turley.
So moved.
Second.
Have a first and a second to motion to appoint full-time police officer Tanner Craddock and part-time police officer William Turley. All in favor? All opposed? Passes. Welcome aboard, gentlemen. If you'd like to address the board, say anything, you're welcome to do it. You all, chiefs?
Well, I've been here before, but I left a little bit and I'm glad to be back. I'm glad you guys are letting me come back. Thank you.
I haven't been here before, but I appreciate the faith. It's well placed, I assure you.
Okay, good. Well,
Welcome to Centralia.
Thanks.
absolutely. Thank you for what you do. Good. All right. Then, that brings us to 9, as may arise. Have anything for that? If not, I would,
Make a motion, we adjourn.
second, second, all in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
All opposed?